the meager. From empty shelves to lack of tests, shortages of workers to, yes, even a disinterest in joining the military. The United States people are left wanting. Meanwhile, politicians are inserting themselves in a foreign conflict, any foreign conflict it seems.
It is Russia, as you have heard, that has a stark choice to make. De-escalation and diplomacy, which of course remains our preferred course, or confrontation and consequences. Our goal remains the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, and we continue to believe that serious and sustained diplomacy is the only way we'll be able to make tangible progress towards that.
Now, I still can't decide if the focus on foreign conflict is more about getting money back into the greedy hands of defense contractors or to distract from this situation here at home. But one thing is for certain, if a 2-year-old virus and a few inches of snow can cause this big of a disruption in the supply chain, just imagine how upset Americans will be if we go to war and we completely break the chain altogether. America, our military forces are also facing a labor shortage. So much so, the United States Army is now offering the largest enlistment bonus ever at $50,000. Now, this incentive is for qualified recruits who sign up for certain career paths, and they must agree to a 6-year active duty enlistment. Now, the blame for low numbers is being put on the pandemic and the lack of recruitment allowed in schools. But is there more to it? So let's ask Colonel Rob Maness, a 32-year-old USA combat vet and host of the Rob Maness Show. Rob, thank you so much for joining me on this. Is money actually the reason why enlistment numbers are down right now? I didn't know that you could put a price on patriotism.
No, it's not money. And yeah, COVID may be part of the issue, but quite frankly, we have an all-volunteer force. And if you look at things like casualty numbers from Iraqi freedom, 3,465 white males died in that of the 4,418 Americans killed in Iraqi freedom. And the military is opposed to white males right now. My white male son just left active duty this year, and his peers, he was an NCO, a non-commissioned officer, his peers are leaving the military in droves. And of course, when you fire people for not taking the vaccine, it's very difficult to get folks that don't want to take the vaccine for various reasons, most of them legitimate, to join the all-volunteer military. And they're not going to be able to put their money where their mouth is about Ukraine and Taiwan or anything else. In my opinion, they're talking too much about that and making more of a deal out of it than it really is.
Well, obviously, fear is one of the best factors that they use right now to motivate or to scare people, whichever one that they want to do. And I think it's about the diversity. I agree. Diversity is very important within all forces. But what the wokeness, I think, is what is scaring people away. This idea, it's not even just about talking about racial lines. It's also about every other kind of line that our military is focused on, rather on actually creating a strong military. $50,000, great signing bonus, and the U.S. military says that allows them to compete against private corporations. But that makes people think that the military is a typical 8-to-5 job. Therefore, do you think it's actually going to change anyone's mind who wasn't already considering it? Someone would say, I'm not going to go take a cushy computer job because I'm going to get $50,000 to go put my life on the line in a foreign land because a politician wants to send me there?
It may change one or two people's minds, but it's not going to change anybody's mind overall. As a matter of fact, Americans don't want to die for Ukrainians with the Russians, and Americans don't want to get into a war with China over anything. That is our bottom line here, and it requires Americans to volunteer to serve in spite of bonus incentives and those kinds of things, because you're not going to get the numbers that you need with a monetary bonus like this $50,000 bonus, although that's pretty high. There will be a lot of people that do decide to take it. But the real question they have to answer is, do I want to die for this regime that we see now that doesn't even approve of people that support the values in our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States? That is ridiculous. And American, especially men, are not going to sign up for it. And they've got to come to the realization, Scotty, that it is white males that volunteer, most of them from the South, and that die for this country in these wars. The statistics show it over and over again. Between 70 and 85% of the combat casualties in the United States of America in all of our wars has been white men. And if the Department of Defense continues to be anti-white male, which is exactly what the wokeness and the diversity political officers that they're putting in place are doing, they're not going to get the volunteers. And you know what? I'm going to push my congressman to eliminate the selective service so there can't be a draft to back up these unnecessary threats of going to war with countries that we don't have to go to war with.
Well, I want to thank your son for your service. Thank you, obviously, for yours as well. And I think that's important that we have recruitment of all kinds. I think that's the sad part. Is it? Unfortunately, bullets don't know any color when they actually go and hit. The enemy is the one that does that. And in this side, I think that it's the irresponsibility that we have come after Afghanistan. 20 years of Afghanistan and leaving people behind. I think that right there. What person wants to sign up for that job of just being pawns of politicians? In fact, I'm one of those that believe that if you get elected to office, send your kid first over to a war that you start before you send mine. Colonel Maness, thanks for joining us.
Exactly.